Hey everybody, welcome back to the Snake Pit. Today we are going to cover my favorite war type, and that's the Rush War. Okay, so like I said, we're going to be covering Rush today, and it is my favorite war of all of them. It's exciting. It has brought new life to a lot of the old, slow heroes and very slow heroes that are otherwise not used. So it's a good way to really uh, reach into the depth and maybe some a lot of investment has gone into some of those old heroes, newer heroes too, not just old ones but newer ones, and it changes up the the meta for when you bring in these kind of rules. So what are the rules for Rush? Well, every hero's mana speed has been set to very fast. And why this changes things a lot is because when a hero comes out, when Empires and Puzzles releases a hero, obviously they try to balance it while still giving a diverse set of skills to make each hero different from the next. But when one of the factors for consideration for balance is the mana speed, which is important. The the heroes that are slow or very slow tend to have a much more destructive effects to their special. And same thing, the very fast ones, it's a little bit less, but they do have that faster mana speed to fire more often. Now, when every hero is set to very fast, they're all playing on a level playing field for that part, but uh, the special effects is much more destructive or much more effective on those very slow heroes. That's what makes them so important to these types of wars and to tournaments as well. So I know that I'm not the only one that likes it. I know that also that there's a lot of people that hate it for their own reasons. Maybe they don't have the right kind of heroes to use in these war types. Maybe it's because um, they don't know how to attack and counterattack these slower heroes for whatever reason. I'm not disputing that they don't like it for whatever reason. But there's a strong voice to say that it should be canceled. I recently came across a poll on the forum where Ssnake had put out a poll seeing if people thought that it should be canceled or not. There was a good turnout of people that voted in this poll. Now, of course, it doesn't represent the whole Empires and Puzzles community, but there's roughly 500 votes in this poll that he put up. One of the questions, sorry, it could be he or she, but that Ssnake had put up, one of them was, should Very Fast Wars remain as is or be canceled? And the same question for tournaments. It was yes, that it should remain as is by either 66% for wars or 73% for tournaments by the day that I'm looking at this right now. So most people like him. I already said I'm one of them, so it's not for everybody. But for those that don't like them, maybe your defense gets clobbered all the time, and this video is certainly going to help you out with figuring out, you know, which which heroes maybe you should be fielding or pursuing to do this, or what kind of formations to be using as opposed to maybe your regular one. It'll also help you identify which teams are going to be the easiest ones, historically speaking, of course. So there's a lot of reasons to be watching this, and I won't hold you up. Let's get right into those numbers. We're going to start with the general formations again. I'm going to stick to the same script that I've been using, again, for the consistency and to make sure that nothing's left out that I had otherwise reported on other war types. So average survivability rate, there was 1,221 teams observed in this during the Rush Wars during this 1 year period. And the average survivability rate is 34.1%. That's the highest survivability rate of all of them. So this is the defenders have an edge in Rush Wars over all the other types. Here are the criteria for the general formations. Again, each one of these can be broken down into more as it goes to healers, except for no healers and 5 healers. I won't split those up. I won't do 3 and 4 because there's too many combinations for too few of occurrences. But I'll go down in the 1 healer and 2 healers route after we're done with this. This will give you a good idea of what the general kind of formation will do. So no healers is 30.1%. No healers is I mean, by the standard of any other war, 30.1 is not bad. But when you've got an average survivability rate of 34.1, it's not great at all. In fact, for no healers, which is done very well in some tournaments, does not do well, or in certain wars, is not doing well in Rush. This is the worst ranking for no healers in its specific war type. It was actually ranks 19th of all the criteria that I look for. So that makes it actually the 4th worst formation in Rush. It's a top 10 in 3 of the other 4 war types. So it just doesn't work in this one. So 1 healer is 31.2%. This is still, again, it's by an average war, it's not a bad score, 31.2. But again, in Rush, it's not great. And this is the worst showing. Excuse me. This is the worst showing for 1 healer formations in all the wars. Two healers, 39.8%. Okay, well, we can see why it's green. It's over 5.5% higher than the average. It has done very well. And again, we'll find that there's going to be some even higher than that because we're going to break it down even further. 3 healers. So this one should be surprising because most of the time 3 healers is not doing well. In this war, it has done very well. This is the best showing, the best, highest ranked for 3 healers out of all the wars. It's actually the 6th highest, so it's done well and it's quite respectable. 4 healers, 16.7%, and 5 healers is 27.1%. Now take a look at this. Just by having the colors visual in front of you like that, you can see where the sweet spot is for this type of war. You want to have a good number of healers here. None and 1 are, in general, they're okay, but it's actually less than okay because it's not even average. It shoots up considerably when you have either 2 or 3 healers, and then it shoots back down again. So that's our sweet spot here. It's 2 and 3 healers. We're going to break down the single healer. So again, 31.2 was the average survivability rate of all different 1 healer formations, and we can have them at tank, flank, wing. Let's go through these. One healer at tank is 33.9%. That's almost average. This is a formation type that has done very well in all the others, and I'd say it's still doing okay. You're going to stop 1 out of 3 attacks with one healer at tank. It's not terrible. One healer at flank, as usual, it falls behind one healer at tank. And then one healer on the wing is 31.3%. So it's also below. But like always, we're going to break it down to see how those revivers do. And the reason I'm not checking the revivers, I mean, I can bring up the revivers for, when they're at flank and so forth. But I am convinced that they're, by being hidden behind and not getting taken out first, and sitting on the wings is where they're most effective. And maybe that's something I'll check into after, but certainly when they go off, you want to bring back as many as you can, and that's done by the wing, and you also need to buy them a little bit of time to charge up for that. So when the healer can revive on the wing, again, we're doing one healer on the wing. When it can revive, 37%. So that's high, but I want to remind you, because it was a shock to me, is that this is actually 0.1% less than 3 healers. So 3 healers out of left field comes in 37.1, even better than a single healer, which would be a reviver on the wing. It's awesome. And when a healer cannot revive, single healer on the wing, 27.4%. I don't have to keep repeating in each one of these videos. It's a terrible idea. We'll go to breaking down the 2 healers now. Different types of formations here. 39.8% was the overall for 2 healers. So we're going to see some higher than that and some lower than that. Here's the split. Most people have gone wing flank. It's 35.8%. 2 healers on the wing tank, 41.6%. Wing 45.9%. Flank 35.9%. And flank tank 45.0%. Notice how the where the tank is involved, so wing tank, flank tank, do very strong again. I mean, they're all strong. We haven't seen this in any of the other types, so it's green across the board. And 2 healers in any which way is going to be very, very good in this rush war type. We're going to break down the wing again. So already 45.9% for an average of all 3 of these different combinations, which is you got 2 healers on the wings where either there's no revivers, one of them is a reviver, or they're both revivers. So no revivers, 32.7%. So yeah, it's a 2 healer formation, and it's not absolutely terrible. It's kind of relatively just under the average survivability rate, but similarly to single healer on the wing that can't revive, it just doesn't hold a torch to when you put those revivers there. If one of them is a reviver, 42.7%. So that's incredible. It's very high. It's very effective. And then with both revivers, it's 52.8%. That means that you are going to repel over half of all attacks if you have a reviver on both wings. It's so awesome, this formation. It's absolutely incredible. And I know how frustrating it is to fight against it. It's too bad that those that don't have revivers can't just go pick them up. But it's the reality. So if you get some, get them trained up. They're going to be good. Again, I mentioned my first video. I don't think Grave Crush is going to have that big of an impact until the market gets flooded with him. But it'll still be a very effective formation. And now with the tank versus flank for using your color, I just put it right up there. So I also mentioned in my very first video that there was one war type where it was better to go with flanks of color over tank of color. And here's that example. So the rainbow team, which is more effective in most cases, is not when you're using flanks of color if you have it, if dark or holy is your chosen color for tanks. So we had dark, and this is for those that went 2 dark flanks as opposed to 1 dark tank and put a holy tank in the center. And this 35.7% encompasses even for those that went 2 dark tanks and another color in the center as a tank, and it's still higher. So here it is. All right, let's go to the summary. Here's our average, 34.1%. 2 healers on the wings, 1 revives. It's 42.7%. What a great formation in this war type. Again, I'm going to go with your top 3 formations, and then I'll go with the worst. Second best is 2 healers, flank tank. And flank tank is this one has also been used quite a few times in this war type, 45%. And the best is 2 reviving healers, wing wing. I don't need to talk about it more, 52.8%. I should also mention that just underneath of these 3, because there are so many good formations, 2 healers, wing tank. Again, we got that tank going in the 2 healer formations, and it's awesome. And 3 healers is 37.1. So again, well above average, and it's also a good combination to use. So the worst things you can do in a rush war is put no healers, 30.1%. A single non-reviving healer on the wing. I don't recommend that for any war type. And in this one is no different, 27.4%. And the worst, 4 and 5 healers. Remember, that sweet spot is the 2 and 3 healers within your war defense. It's funny, I came across some comments in a forum the other day, or it's actually on a web page as well, that claimed that not to put any healers in a rush war. All I could do is kind of snicker. It's one of those things where people go with their gut and their emotion, and right here we've got many cases that show otherwise. So 2 and 3 healers is the best. Any more or any less is not generally going to work well for you. Well, I hope that you enjoyed the numbers for Rush. I know it's my favorite war. It may be yours as well. If not, it might be now, after you know how to set up your war defense. If you like this video or you like the other ones, please leave me a comment and hit the subscribe button. Every one of these helps me out and keeps me going to make sure that I keep getting more data and staying on top of this for you. I'm Snake, and I'm here to help you defend yourself.